All right, well, let's get started. Thank you, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, I'm Catherine Bergerson. I am the president of the Gulf Coast chapter of PRSA, and I'm also the assistant vice president of marketing for Newsbank. And I'm so happy that we could get together today, even though it's virtually. It has been too long since our last official meeting in late February. And of course, our world has changed so much since that last meeting. And I want to thank you for your attendance here today and continuing to be a part of our PRSA Gulf Coast chapter and our friends and our members and our family. We had a great turnout for today's session. And so I'm so happy that so many people are able to join us here today virtually. Of course, I don't have to tell you, we are in a unique environment. As communication professionals, I know that you are all busy finding new solutions for your clients, your organizations, your businesses, your donors, not to mention all of our families and our loved ones in this changing world that we're in. As communication professionals, we are really on the front lines of adjusting, reimagining, recreating communication strategies, messaging, our marketing plans, and I want to thank you for all that you are doing, forging this new ground together on behalf of our community. On behalf of the PRSA board, I want to let you know that we are here to help in any way possible. We are a resource for you, and I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to our volunteer board members who are working so hard to also adjust our programming so that we can continue to look for ways to be relevant and meaningful to you and for our greater community. In fact, today's presentation, What to Plan When You Don't Know What to Plan, with Darcy Eikenberg, is a result of our board reevaluating our programming to ensure that we are hosting events that are relevant and meaningful in today's changing landscape. At the conclusion of our presentation, I'll share a little bit of information with you about some plans from PRSA National about membership options for those of us who may have been economically impacted by COVID-19, and we want to make sure that memberships are as affordable and accessible as possible. So we'll get to that at the end of the session today. But the reason that we are all here, like most of us in the working world today, Darcy Eikenberg wears a lot of hats. She is an executive coach to leaders at companies such as Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Flight Docs. She consults and speaks on leadership growth, career development, all across the country. She's the author of Bring Your Superpowers to Work, Your Guide to More Clarity, Confidence, and Control. She blogs regularly on career and workplace issues at redcaperevolution.com. Her ideas have been published in the Harvard Business Review, Naples Daily News, Forbes, and many other publications. Recently, you may have seen her daily motivational audio series featured on our very own local Wink News, and you can get her series on her website. Darcy is a graduate of Leadership Bonita. She serves on the boards of the Bonita Assistance Office, Northwestern University alumni, go Cats, and the Bonita Springs Chamber. She is also the host of the Bonita Business Podcast, which just ended its 3rd season. Congratulations. Darcy brings a sense of humor to serious matters in our work and careers. She offers simple, practical ways that we can change our lives at work for the better and for good. Please join me in welcoming Darcy Eikenberg.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. I am so excited to hear today. So I just want to double check that we are hearing me and seeing me. So give me a thumbs up. Come on in. Okay, raise your hand. We're going to really use the Q&A today as opposed to chat. So feel free to pop a question as we go along in the Q&A, or say hi, or make a comment, or again, we'll try to make this as interactive as possible. And I'm really honored at Catherine and the rest of the group to be able to be here with you all today. So let's dive in. So anybody have this conversation with their friends or family that, we kind of think, oh my gosh, I started 2020 with so much hope and energy, and we were talking about 2020 vision and all these cool things, and yet late February, early March came, and the world changed. And even for the most optimistic of us, I think it often felt like we were, on an uphill climb, that we're trying to look at what's next. We're trying to grow. We're trying to do the best for our companies and our world. And still, it's hard. So it's one of the reasons I'm really excited and so honored that you're here today with us, with your colleagues in PRSA, with people from my community, from our community all around Southwest Florida and even across the world. Because you made a choice to be here today. You decided that you wanted to show up, to invest in yourself, to be part of something bigger. And I want to just share with you, I want to mirror back to you, if you've been somebody who's been thinking a little bit that, hey, I'm not sure that this year is all it's cracked up to be, or, you know what, I really haven't done all the things that I thought I would be doing so far this year. I want to point something out to you. My bet is that you already have done so much more than you give yourself credit for. I mean, I bet there's one, maybe more things on this list that you have done. I mean, tell me in the Q&A, like, have you learned something you haven't learned, didn't do before? Have you built a new relationship? Have you strengthened a relationship? I bet that there's something that you've accomplished already in this year that you never saw at the beginning of the year, that you would need to do, that you would want to do, that you would have to do. And for that, I think you deserve a round of applause. So give yourselves a hand, give yourself a pat on the back, whatever you need to just recognize that you have moved forward already. You haven't been stuck. There's things you've done, and take some credit for that. And thank you to those who are chiming in and sharing some of those things that you've done, because without that encouragement, without that forward thinking, it's really hard sometimes to recognize that that we can keep moving forward and move forward fast. I believe you're here at the right time. And not just the time of the starting time of our webinar, but the right time for our community and our world. I believe that right now it's the perfect time for communication professionals and of all walks of communication, PR and marketing and digital strategy, to assess where we are and be the ones to set the direction for what's coming next. And it's also time for us to stop listening to the noise, to all of the buzz, the fear, and to take back control. And we're going to talk about that today. I believe it is time for a revolution in how we believe in what we do, how we talk about what we do, and even in how it's valued in what we do and what you do as communication professionals. And this is the reason I call my company Red Cape Revolution. Because remember when you were a kid and you grabbed a towel or a sheet and you threw it around your shoulders, you felt confident, you felt in control. What would it feel like if you could have that feeling every single day in your life at work? What would change for you then? What would change for your workplace, your department, your company, your customers, your clients, your profession? And I believe it can change our world. Right now, more than ever, our world needs you. No matter what you do, no matter what you bring, we need you now more than ever. And so, because you've shown up today, or maybe you're watching this on the replay, I'm so appreciative of people who will take a step forward, who will invest in themselves, their time, their energy, their money, their attention, that I've actually got to thank you for you. That I'm going to give away 2 deep dive strategy sessions, career strategy sessions, to people who are who are watching this session. So one will be to people who are here live. So those of you who showed up live, good for you. And then you'll also be in a second drawing for everybody who's watched this by the end of the week. So you can tell your friends, if they weren't here live, they can still show up. And the way that you enter that drawing to get the deep dive strategy session from me is to take out your mobile device and text the word PRSA plans, so it's plural, to the number 44222. So I'll tell you this again as we come later in the webinar, but if you'd like to be in the drawing for a deep dive career strategy session with me, maybe we want to go deeper on something that I'm going to talk about here, or maybe there's something else going on that I can help you with. It's just a way that I can say thank you for being here. Thank you for your time that you invest in PRSA. And thank you for being the kind of person who wants to plan, who wants to grow, who doesn't want to just stay stuck. So now, as we move along today, I got to tell you, I don't have a crystal ball. I heard someone say the other day that they thought their crystal ball was filled with milk. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I do have is I have the benefit of being able to connect with so many leaders all around the country. So in my coaching work, I work with leaders not only locally, but elsewhere who are thinking about what's happening, who are reacting to what's happening in the world, and who are wanting to move things forward. And I'm seeing some themes, and I'm seeing 3 actions that we all can start taking right now, even amid the uncertainty, even when we're not really sure where our job will even be in the next week, in the next month, in the next 2 months. And you might decide you want to write some of these down as we go along. That's great. You might decide you want to pop into the Q&A and you want to share some things in the Q&A as we go along with these actions. Go ahead and do that. My promise is that whatever questions come up, if we don't get them answered on this webinar, then we're definitely going to get them answered afterwards. So I'll make sure we reach out and share the questions, the answers with everybody. So here are 3 actions that you can do to start to plan what's next, even when you're not sure what to plan. The first action is to take back control. And I referenced this earlier, but what do I really mean by taking back control? Well, I don't know about you, but I get a little exhausted at all of the noise about, oh my gosh, everything's broken, everything's closed, the world is shut down, and sure, we've experienced, I'm not going to even use the cliches, right? The amount of change has been tremendous. And yet, those of us who know what we control can screen out a lot of the noise, can be focused and centered and calm. And yes, absolutely, are there terrible things that are going on? If it's your family member that's sick, if it's your job that's downsized, if it's you that are directly affected, and who isn't? But you can be focused on what's next and the future without having to feel flailing and all over the place. And it's by taking back control. And here's the truth. There have always only been 3 things you control. Yep, that's it. Just 3. Here's what they are. You control everything that you do. Yep, your actions, every action, every choice you make, you get to control that. You get to make the active choice to do something or
to not do something, to stop do something, which I think today I'm hearing a lot of people making some active choices as to what they're going to stop doing now. But you have control over that. You also have control over everything you say. What needs to be said in your work environment? Or where do you need to speak up or speak out? You get to take back control and stop waiting for permission to offer your expertise, permission to step in. You get to control everything you say. And third, you control everything you think. And honestly, this is the hardest one, right? The battle of the brain can be overwhelming right now, especially with all the noise that's around us, all of the fear, all of the worry. But you get to control, you get to choose your thoughts. You know, one of the things Catherine mentioned earlier, and some of you may have heard this or seen this, I currently have a daily audio series that's out there. You can sign up at redcakecareer.com. It's free, but it was designed to help win the battle of the brain, to have these little, someone called it brain hugs every day, but some little practical pieces of mindset, because controlling what we think is a skill that we have to build all the time. But the fact is that controlling what we do, what we say, and what we think, it's all we control. It's all we can control. Once we realize that's it, it's all it's ever been, the benefit of that is that we get to let everything else go. I can't control the other person in my office. I can't control what's happening with the economy. I can't control what the governor will decide or the president will decide or the world will decide. What can I control that's important to me? I love this quote from the late speaker and writer, Dr. Wayne Dyer. It says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you are telling yourself you don't have control, that you have to just stay back, that you have to play small, that you have to wait, then if you look at it differently, everything else opens up for you. So as you're thinking about planning what's next during a time when you're not quite sure what to plan, changing the way you look at things, changing how you take control is one of the first steps that is well within your ability right here and right now. So as a thought for you, think about answering this question, and you're welcome to answer it in the Q&A, welcome to write it down, or just think about this now and beyond the time of our webinar. The biggest place I can take back control right now is, and trust your gut on it. There's probably something that's coming up for you. Maybe there's a relationship that you need to say something, or a project that's just kind of gone awry where you need to do something differently. Where is it that you need to take back control? So that's the first action. And as we go along, please keep the Q&As coming. We'll take a bit after this action and answer some more questions. But the second action that you can do right now is to reset, repair, or reframe your work. Reset, repair, or reframe your work. Now, as Catherine mentioned, right now, there is a bit of a halo going on, I think, for communication professionals. And if you've heard me talk before, you know that I have a communication background myself. I get the opportunity to work with a lot of people in communication professions of all different kinds. And I am excited that this is the opportunity that professional communicators can step forward and accelerate their value and be recognized for the difference that they can make. And at the same time, I'm still a little worried. I get worried that with all of the happy talk around communication, around how important it is, that in many places, in many ways, communication is still being looked at as a commodity. Now, what do I mean by a commodity? So a commodity is something that is just like all the rest, that one's the same as the next, that, one marketing program is the same as the next marketing program. One virtual webinar is the same as another virtual webinar, that everything feels the same. And when you're a commodity, your value decreases. So this is the time as we think about resetting, reframing, revaluing what you do as a professional communicator, what you do in PR, in digital strategy, in marketing communication, in sales communication, any of the things you do. Where are you right now? And where do you need to be that is out of the commodity business? The commodity business where one looks like all the rest, but into the business of value, the business of helping companies save money, save time, save energy, make money. Where are you on this spectrum, and where do you want to be? And as some of you were with me when I got the opportunity to speak live with PRSA last summer, and we talked about communicating your value while you're communicating everything else, we dug deeper into this idea of what is your unique value and how are you communicating it? How are you making sure that whereas you might know that you're on the right-hand side of the chart, that maybe others think you're on the left-hand side. And so you would be replaceable. So you could be outsourceable. So you could be downsizable. I actually have a client who got a new job in February as basically a chief marketing officer of a company. And when she was hired with a team of 20. There were 20 people on the communication and marketing team. She started her job the second week of March. That team was now 9. So her question, as she's coming into this new opportunity was, what was going on that more than half of that team was seen as a commodity in a time when this company is saying by hiring her, they need to ramp up. What they're saying is that they need more value and less of the stuff, less of the commodity work. So what does that mean for our planning? What does that mean for what we need to do? We have to press the reset button. A change is the perfect time to set the reset button. We get the opportunity during change to do one of two things. We can choose chaos, which is what most people do. Oh, no one knows what's going on. Oh, it's so hard. Or we get to choose creativity. And that's what the reset button is. So here's my question for you. What of these things is this your perfect opportunity to reset? What of these things do you need to reset? Maybe just one. It could be relationship. It could be you need to recommunicate the relationship about what you do. Or maybe it's an outcome, or it's an expectation. Or maybe it's your habit that, hey, when my boss texts me at 8:00 at night, I always respond. Maybe it's time to reset that habit as you create what's next in a way that works better for you. And these are magic words that can help you get that started. They can help you start the conversation. And here's the magic words. All of this change has made me think about X, that thing you want to reset. So I'd like to talk about moving from X to Y. whatever that new state is, whatever that new vision is going to be. Oftentimes, we know there's a new place we want to be. We know there's a place further down the plan we want to be. And yet, we don't know how to get it started. We don't know how to hit the reset button. These magic words can help you get that started, can help you get the reset started that you need, the reframe, the rethink on the things that matter to you the most, so that you can be bringing your value. You can be seen as the value creator that you are, and not just a commodity. We get the chance now more than ever. We get the chance to teach people how to treat us. You know, often in, let's call normal times, I'd like another word for normal, but, you know, in like the times we become used to, we accept others' behavior or how others see us. And it just becomes too much energy to recast those relationships, or to re-educate somebody, or to go back and start from scratch. This is that chance. This is that chance to think, where are the places in these new relationships, or these old relationships, where I get to create it new again? Where I can teach somebody how to treat me, how to treat the work that we do, where I get to speak up, I get to take control, I get to ask for different behavior, I get to ask for different input. Choosing the creativity over chaos gives you the chance to create that, so that what's ahead for you is more of what you want and not just of what's been. So here's the next question for you, or the statement for you to answer or to dive into right now or separately. The one thing that I can reset, repair, or reframe right now in my life at work is, and I do qualify it to your life at work, but I have to admit that this could be something that you need to do in your life. You know, maybe there's a reframe that you need to make with the people you're sharing space with. It's happening to a lot of us right now. Or maybe it's with yourself. But think about the one thing where you know, I'd like to just hit the reset button, and to use this time, use this place we are right now as that gift to be able to do that. Somebody says here, you know, a life reset. Yes, absolutely. You know, boundaries, attitudes, all of these things can be reset. We get into habits. Human beings, I mean, this is just our nature, right? Human beings are messy. We have emotions, which are fantastic because it's emotion that puts you in motion. But we can sometimes choose a negative emotion and feel like we're stuck and we have no control. We want to choose the positive emotion and say, if I actually can control what I say, what I do, what I think. And so I want to reset that. Pick the thing you want to reset. Okay, I am going to take a sip of water, and if you have questions or a comment or something as I take a sip of water, we're going to just scan the Q&A, and if there's anything that that we can answer right now, pop it in there and ask that question while I have a drink. So reassess goals for my encore career. Yeah, they're gonna reset that. I see some of the other people. Hello to some folks that have seen me before. So answer your questions, or put your questions out there. Seeing if there's any other questions that pop up. It may take a little bit for questions to pop up, but know that we're going to, if you put a question in, answer them all. If we don't get to them today, my commitment is that I'll answer the question for you and follow up. And yes, you will get a replay of this, so you have the chance to also respond to that. If you're going to maybe watch part of it again or go through the exercises together, then you can ask me questions anytime. So I'm going to have another sip of water, and then we're going to move forward. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. All right, that's allergies. That's nothing else. So, all right, ready to rock and roll, move on. I don't see any other questions. All right, you've got 2 actions right now: to take back control and then to reset, reframe something that you need to. And now the 3rd action is to narrow your vision. Now, narrow your vision. I mean, most of the time we talk about vision, we talk about blue sky, and we talk about, let's have a big vision and let's think big and let's make sure that the sky's the limit. I mean, all these different metaphors, right? Is it simile? I don't know. There's probably a good grammarian on here that can correct me with that. And often when I'm working with a client, they think about vision like this kind of craptastic, and put everything in a box. These words that are meaningless, these words that are commodity words, right? Anybody have that in their company, or maybe they've been asked to create it? This is not what I mean by your vision, nor about narrowing your vision. Right now, when things are uncertain, anytime things are uncertain, the more powerful way that our vision can work for us is to narrow it down and to take a smaller step forward. Because when you have clarity on a smaller step forward, it feels doable, it feels within sight, and it feels like something that can help guide you every single day so you keep moving forward. So here's what I want to suggest to you. About 6 months from now is Thanksgiving. 6 months, just 6 months away. And with apologies to any Canadians who are on here, because I know your Thanksgiving is different, but in the US, Thanksgiving is a time of gratitude, of reflection, of appreciation. And who knows if we're going to be sitting at tables with our family and friends, or if we're going to be sitting at computers like this and having a turkey sandwich. I don't know. But I want you to think about putting yourself wherever you're going to be in Thanksgiving this year. And I want you to be able to fast forward with this, what I call the fast future formula. I want there to be something that when you're talking to your family and friends in Thanksgiving, when you're talking to your colleagues, when you're feeling grateful, when you're feeling proud of yourself, when you're looking back, I want you to have this statement. And so here's the formula, and I'm going to give you some examples. I verbed the noun to get results. Okay, what does that really mean? So it's something you did to something, a noun, to get a result. So these statements, this formula, is fast forward formula, can help you pick something, one thing, to narrow your vision so that you have an eye toward, at Thanksgiving time, as we approach that last lap into the year, that time that's just 6 months from now. I mean, think about how fast this year has gone in many ways, except maybe for a couple weeks in March, which seemed like they were 3 or 4 weeks, longer. But anyway, think about what's the thing that might be most important for you to be able to look back on and to be proud of. So, for example, are there expectations you need to reset? I reset my boss's expectations so that I right-size my workload. Is there work you need to do? Are you concerned about what might happen with your job or your career? So do you need to expand your network or offer more help to people? Maybe you need to communicate your value more, develop a ROI data, develop a better conversation with your customers about how what you do is not a commodity, how what you do differentiates, helps them save money, make money, save time, save energy. This is maybe not something it's going to come right to you in this time we have together today. But I want to challenge you to take this formula away and do this work, because when the vision is visible, it helps you plan every day. It helps you know what to say yes to, and it helps you know what to say no to. And when you're saying yes to the right things and no to the right things, that can help you win the battle of the brain. That can help you stay focused and moving forward and be able to deal with every day as it comes, instead of feeling like, oh, well, everything's screwed up, so I may as well give up. I'm just going to phone it in, or I'm just going to, let the cards fall where they may. The visible vision allows you to plan every single day. So here is your write it down exercise. Here is something to take away, to reflect on. If you know what yours is, pop it in the Q&A. And maybe you have more than one. I really think, though, and I encourage this a lot of times during times of uncertainty, to narrow it. I mean, don't over goal yourself, right? Don't over vision yourself. We want to set you up for success. We want you to feel that you're making progress. And this is human nature, that progress feels good. Progress encourages us. And you notice I didn't say perfection, but progress. Because even if you fall on your face, at least you're moving forward. So this phrase, to finish this phrase, 6 months from now, at my Thanksgiving table or my Thanksgiving Zoom call or whatever that's going to be, I'll be proud that I've verbed the noun to get the result. What is that for you? What is that result? What is the thing that you can take control to do? Are you going to speak up? Are you going to do something differently? Are you going to reset something? What is this that you can look back on and celebrate and know that you didn't waste this time of, it could be chaos, but it also could be great creativity. It could be great progress going forward. What is it for you? So I want to just take a second and check in for questions. So I'm going to just scan the questions. So here's a question. If I want to reset boundaries, how do I socialize others? Well, so it's a great question. I think this goes back to the magic, the magic words before of pressing the reset button, of telling somebody and saying, we're currently doing X, or currently, here's the level, here's what we have gotten into doing. Here's the habit we've done, or here's how I've typically served you. But I'd like to have a conversation about doing Y. I'd like to propose doing it differently and starting that conversation. Because oftentimes I think we get into these habits where people don't even know that there could be a different way, because we're not telling them. We're not showing them there's a better way, and we're not showing them what the consequences of that could be. So some other questions. What is your opinion of the job market now? And what one step is most important to make a career change in the PR field? So what's my opinion of the job market right now? Well, I think right now we're in a time where fear is dominating, where not only, honestly, a lot of the downsizing that we see is being done. It's being done quickly. It's being done to cut costs without really any planning or any foresight. Yes, there are exceptions. There are some great companies out there, some great companies locally that are working really hard to preserve jobs. But I think a lot of what we're seeing is, especially in communication, PR, marketing, is leaders not understanding the value of what those roles were doing to begin with. And honestly, some of it is cleaning up stuff that probably should have been cleaned up before. I have a client that it's really clear that they are using this as an opportunity to clean things up that they could have cleaned up in the past. So, but for you, what do you need to, if you're one of those people, you've lost that, your job was lost, or you are thinking about change. The most important thing I think you can do right now is look at how you serve and start serving, and not worry about the selling, not worry about, you're not asking people, do you have a job for me? You're looking where you make a difference, what your superpowers are, getting clear on that, and who needs you, where you can provide help. Find the problems, find the pain, and follow that. The old ways are gone. Quite honestly, in career change and job search, the ways that people had been thinking they were finding jobs was already broken. And this is why, it's so great that you're part of a group like PRSA, because where I hate the word networking, because I'm not a tuna, I don't want to be caught in your net. But building relationships, looking for who you can help, looking how you can serve, asking questions to learn more about the problems, the opportunities, what else is going on in the world. Because the mindset is, and all the noise that you're going to get, and this happened in the recession in 2008 as well, is that, nobody's hiring, everybody's unemployed. But if we've got, say there's 20% unemployment, which is an awful number, and if it's you, it's 100%, right? If it's your life, but there's still 80% of people that are working, that have jobs, that have needs. There are companies that are soaring right now. There are problems people are trying to solve on the fly. What's the problem that you solve? What's the thing that you can do? So that's my opinion on that. So let me just pop into a couple other questions. Expand and use your network to connect with the right people. That's great. Yeah, terrific. So what about you? What is that action you need to take? And I don't know if I'm scanning through and missing any questions, but we'll make sure after the webinar is over that I go through, and if there's any other question, or you can always send me a question to Darcy, DARCY, at redcaperevolution.com. And I'm happy to answer you privately then. So again, as my thanks to you, we're going to do those deep dive sessions. I really, this is also a benefit for me, honestly, because I get a chance to hear more of what's happening for people like you. Because your story helps us know how to serve other people, helps us know how to help others to bring their superpowers to work, to take back control. And it helps us keep in tune of what is happening with the jobs and the market and our profession and the profession of communication, and making sure that we're supporting each other to not be a commodity, that we're really adding value, so that at that fast future, at that Thanksgiving table, we've each got something that we're going to be proud of. So I'm going to last call for questions before we start to wrap up. And I'm just scanning down here, and I don't see any others that are open. So I wish I could hand you the magic button. I wish I could tell you, here are the 3 things that if you do these 3 things, everything will be perfect. Everything will be okay. Your life will be a dream. I can't do that. Nobody can do that. But the truth is that these actions you can take now to plan, to not be one of the people who is stuck in this feeling of, I can't plan anything. I can't do anything. I can't move forward. I just have to wait. I'm just going to wait for the economy to change, or I'm going to wait for my leader to figure it out. I'm going to wait for my business to turn around. You can't wait. And that's not just because you need to take action for your career. It's not just because your industry and your profession needs you. This is a time when you can step forward, where the world needs you and the superpowers you bring and the talent you bring, and need you to break out of being a commodity, need you to break out of being seen like everybody else, that all marketing people are the same, all social media is the same, that we can go to the lowest cost denominator, we can outsource it, we can eliminate it because it's free, or, oh, well, everybody can do it themselves. No, the world needs you and what you bring now more than ever. I am so honored to have had the chance to be here with you today. We will take some more questions if there are questions, but for kind of some final thoughts, I am going to throw it back to Catherine. So we'll turn Catherine's audio back on, and Catherine, back to you.
Oh, Darcy, thank you so much. It is always great to hear from you and see you, and I can't wait until we can be together in person again, but I'm sure everyone is feeling as inspired as I am right now, and those are fantastic tips. I took a lot of notes, and I'm going to be sure to use your brain hug idea. That's great. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, on behalf of everyone here today, Darcy Eikenberg, always a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so just a few notes though before we say goodbye today. I want to let you know about an upcoming event that we have actually a week from today, Optimizing Digital Engagement Strategies. It'll again be at noon at the reduced rate of just $10 for the session. Joe Butcherer, he's formerly with Oracle Data Cloud and formerly with Nielsen. He is going to be sharing tips about digital signals and how they are developed today, how to reach receptive audiences, and optimizing acquisition and engagement. So again, that is a week from today. You can register on our Facebook page or on our website. It's on the screen there. Also, a membership update. I had a phone call with National PRSA last week, and they are rolling out a hardship offer. It's approximately 50% off the membership rate to PRSA if you have been affected by the current economic conditions. So please reach out to our membership chair, Courtney Jolly. Her email is on the screen if you would like more information about that, and we will get that information up on our website as soon as possible. So that's a great opportunity. Please do take advantage of that. Also, for the chapter dues, if you've been impacted, reach out to me or another one of our board members. We certainly want to work with you and maintain our membership and all of the great benefits of being a PRSA member. Finally, please follow us on social media. We have a new LinkedIn account, so please do log in and follow us there. Facebook and Twitter are very active. You can get our updated information on upcoming events, share stories, what's working for you, what have you learned during this occasion, can we get together, what kind of virtual events would you like to do, share that information with us. We want to hear from you. And finally, again, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Gulf Coast chapter of PRSA. We are truly a strong network of friends and colleagues and communications professionals, and I appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much again for joining us. Thank you again to Darcy, and I will see you next week. Bye.